that you cannot execute or condone irregular acts because somebody else, you know that this thing is wrong and you get an order. Now, this is also in international treaties. You can't blame some higher officer for telling you to go and do something which you know is illegal or wrong. The Constitution even goes far, not even illegal, it says irregular. If you do something irregular. You know why I brought this up? The police on Saturday. Now, just imagine this. Friday, this truck drives through Buxton, men in the tray, the truck, cowards, because they were down in the tray. They wouldn't even put their heads up to shoot. All of them have these machine guns, right? AK-47 and other machine guns. Then they started shooting on both sides and at the back of the truck, right? And with their heads down, so they just had the guns over the thing and shooting among the people. I mean, they could have killed anybody. The idea was to kill black people, obviously, because everybody there that hangs out on the line there is black people. Okay, so they just shoot up the whole place. They shoot. I went to see houses where bullets went all up in the roof and all kind of stuff. So they didn't only shoot on the ground at the people, they shot to people's houses also. I went to 2 shops. The shops below, the houses up top, bullet holes. All right? This happened. 1 man killed, so many wounded. Now, the next day, you will expect the police to go in to conduct an investigation, a proper investigation, so as to catch the culprits. Okay? I go in Saturday. I receive a call, the police in there, coming there with big guns and they got shooting going on. So I drove up to Buxton, went in, bent down the company down. There is the police lying down in this thing and some of them in this vehicle, armored vehicle. So I went up, I saw, I spoke to some of them. I said, what was happening here? What are y'all doing? They said they came to investigate what happened the night before, but the men didn't allow them to investigate because when they saw them, they started shooting at them. All right, good, fair enough. Now my question is this. These kinds of things is a forensic investigation. They're supposed to go there to look for the shells, to determine what type of weapons, talk to the people who see whether they were able to get the number of the truck, the color of the truck, if they saw anybody, and that is how I would think a proper investigation should be carried out. And the persons who should be carrying out that investigation, I would believe, are detectives. Okay? Detectives should be going in there, and some of them may have on plain clothes, and maybe you have 2 senior officers, and if necessary, knowing what's happening, the reality in Buxton, you ask one of the political leaders or activists, let them know we're going in, would you like to come with us, and so on. Or are you going alone? I'm quite sure if 2 or 3, 4 detectives had gone in there with 2 senior police officers and to begin their investigation, they would not have come under fire. But if you go in there with an armored vehicle, 20 policemen with machine guns and an armored vehicle, what kind of investigation is this? The people must feel that perhaps you're going in now to start shooting them up again. They feel under threat. You come to terrorize the village. And you can't say, the officer told you to go in there like that to conduct an investigation, to pick up the shells and find out what's going on. What's really happening in this country? People are already traumatized, killed, wounded, the whole village in trauma. And that is how the police going into the village to conduct an investigation. Now, one of the men said something that is remarkable, and I want to deal with it. He said, the people in Buxton hate the police. The people in Buxton, as far as I know, because I go into Buxton pretty regularly, do not hate the police. They have many of them have children in the police. They have their husbands in the police force, uncles, brothers, cousins, all kinds of relationships with the police. The people in Buxton hate the behavior of some of the members of the police force. That's what they hate. They don't hate the police. Nobody's not people. You can't be, I mean, it's only ignorant people would hate the police, quote unquote the police. The police have to provide security. If there was no police, there'd be the law of the jungle. Nobody would be safe. I don't want to hear some of these so-called religious people or people who think they're righteous come and say you don't need police because you could go back to some 500,000 years ago or some 10,000 years ago and they didn't have no. They always had. Every society has always had rules Even in your own home, you have rules. There's some things you can do, some things you can't do. No society can function and prosper without rules. So you have to have rules. The first laws, even in Adam and Eve, God made sure that they understand this. He said you can do anything, you can eat anything, but don't eat this one. So from the beginning, there was rules, there was law, right? There was discipline. If you do this, something bad is going to happen to you. God said, if you, I'm warning you, don't eat this fruit. When they did, they said, well, you break the, you know, I gave you, this was the law, you broke the law, so therefore there's a consequence. This is what's going to happen now. So our societies have to have some system of sanctions, of some system of where people will know that there are certain behaviors that are prescribed. You cannot do certain things, right? Okay, good. So the people in Boston don't hate the police force. The people in Boston want the police force to understand that, like when they go in there and pull Shaka out of his bed and shoot him down like a dog in front of his family, they're not going to go for that. And not only the people in Boston, African men, if they have any balls at all, have got to understand that they cannot sit by and allow any agency of any state or any group of men, whether they call themselves businessmen or what, to be shooting and killing African men. There is a law. There is a system. The administration of justice. If somebody does wrong, they must be arrested. In England, in the United States, you hear people blow up a whole building and kill hundreds, something, people and all kind of things be happening. And these people, the police go, they surround the building. Sometimes they wait for 2 days if possible. They arrest people and take them to court. I don't say they don't shoot down people and that doesn't happen. There are some racist police officers who go out there and this happens. There are some trigger-happy police. But that is not how it's supposed to be done. Without the law, there will be the law of the jungle. And in that case, nobody is safe. The only thing that holds the society together is the law. We have to obey the law. You cannot have rule by men. Today I feel that this is the rule or this is the law, and tomorrow I change my mind and do something else. You've got to have a system that everybody agree to. And the police must understand this. This system of, and people like Glenn Lal of Kaito News, and these so-called businessmen that he claims put his ad in the paper, they must understand that it took thousands of years to reach this level of civilization where there is a set of laws, there's a constitution, there are laws, and everybody agreed that this is how the society will be governed. And you can't come today because you have more guns on the other side and say, forget the courts, we don't need no police, we don't need no courts, let's go out and shoot them down. Because if you do that, there will be a response. There will be resistance. There is no society that I know of where a state has oppressed and terrorized the people continuously and there was not a resistance. The people always rise up and the people always defeat the state. It doesn't matter if it takes 10 years or 100 years, the state will be defeated. Any state that decides that it's going to take the law into its own hands, any group of people who decide that they can go out there and shoot down people as they like because they think they have more guns and they're more powerful, will discover that the people are going to arm themselves equally and they will have a right on their side because they will be acting righteously to defend themselves and they will win. Okay, good. So we're going to open the phones now. Yes, good evening. You're on.
Hi, pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Waddell.
Good evening.
This here, excuse my voice, right? This here is very ridiculous with the government. I don't see what really they're doing to help the situation. You understand? And it's a lot of Negroes. If people look and just sit back and look and see what the advantage these people are taking on us. You understand? It's not being racial, but it is clearly that they want the whole box and wipe out. It is clearly, because I cannot see that you cannot sit to socialize and people just drive past your place and just spraying bullets here while.
Okay.
It could be little children in the house. You understand? And they could have been shot dead. They don't have feelings. They don't have feelings. ridiculous.
Okay, sister. Well, one 16-year-old child was shot dead. Delon Headley. He was a child. And the people who did this wanted to start a race war. We should get this clear. But they're not going to start a race war in Guyana. There will be resistance and construction. And if a war has to be started, it will be started when God decides, in God's Allah, Jah's own time. These murderers will not decide when the war will start. Good evening. You're on.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Waddell.
Good evening, sir.
First of all...
And you have to be brief because...
Okay,
right.
okay, first of all, the PPP is not in Jamaica. The PPP is not in Brooklyn. These things going on all the time.
Yeah, so does that make... So what? Does that make it right?
No one said make it right.
Okay.
I mean, how could I say that?
Okay,
no,
go ahead.
that's not the point.
Okay, what's the
The
point?
point is that today's society is not a modern society.
We're talking
it's a
about...
barbaric society.
We're talking about people who drive by and just shoot up a whole set of
But this,
people.
I'm telling you,
Innocent people.
Brooklyn, I'm telling you, I live there, I see it, I have it. In my store, people have to die for the gun. I see a man crawling his car from the bottom. And it ain't got nothing to do with politics.
Oh,
they
yeah?
got drug wars, they got all that, just shoot drive-bys happen.
So this was a drug war in Buxton?
I'm not saying it's a drug war. They got drive-by, they want to kill one man, they kill the man, they kill whoever here.
Yeah.
This thing, this thing, I pass these things in Brooklyn, and I'll tell you what I want to tell you.
I was in Brooklyn also. You tell me what you saw, what you
What
see.
about Jamaica? You understand?
In Jamaica, that's gang warfare.
But
What
the
you
point
think?
I'm making to you.
What happened? No, stop. You brought up Jamaica and Brooklyn. And I know, I lived in Brooklyn just like you. I know that in Brooklyn they have gang wars over drug turf. In Jamaica, they have political wars and gang wars. Some over drugs, some over politics. In Guyana, we talk about what happened there on Friday night, where this truck with men passing, kept their head down, put out their guns, and just shot up on 3 sides of the road.
Okay.
Right, what you call that?
Could that
Was
also
it-
be a
was it-
businessman who was robbed by black people,
Yeah.
and because Boxon is a target area, they say, you're okay, I can send them out to Boxon and black boys.
You think so?
I'm telling you, an environment was created from 2001. 2001, before the election, had peace, you know. And the people were told not to go to the election. I was in Channel 9, you know. People refused. I know when this thing starts, you know. This thing starts with make a temp vibes, which starts in Campbellville, outside Congress Place, and in Congress Place. I get back 7 years, you know.
What started there?
Was neutral.
What started there?
Huh?
What started in
The
Campbell?
reaction after the election was lost or stolen, whichever one the one
Yeah,
call
the
it.
people were demonstrating on the street. So what?
Huh?
So what?
No, I'm telling you, there was a shootout at Congress Place because people were gathered in there and there was a pumping scene of what's going to happen after. Even the veterans will call up. I tell you how this thing happening, you know, because nobody has seen this thing happening other than me.
It was a shootout at Congress Place?
There was all that kind of shootout.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
You understand? So the point I'm making to this thing galvanized after then. When everything collapsed, is then you see people will start being killed. Because if you're a government and that happens, you will take action. Bono will take an action. Chavez will take action.
Oh, so you mean what Gadwa did, he was right?
Huh?
You're
I'm
saying
not
that...
saying what is right. I'm telling you.
Okay. I think we got to move on. Yes, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Ronald.
Yes.
The idiot that just is talking that to you
Mm-hmm.
is just another idiot that you shouldn't even take on at all. But
Good.
listen to this.
I gave him 3 minutes. Right.
I need this government to understand
Mm-hmm.
that this here what they're doing, black people never lose a revolution yet. And if they want a revolution, they're going to get a revolution. This here what they're doing is destroying the young black men, so we won't have black people in this country anymore. And this here is going to lead to a definite revolution. Thank you and good evening, Ronald. You take care.
Good evening. Okay. One of the problems with revolution in Guyana is that we may very well find that, anyway, let the people speak. Good evening, you're on. Good evening, you're on. Okay, maybe that person wanted to type the line. Somebody says, yes, good evening, you're on. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.